Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here as the recording of the Sunday, February 12, 2023. I am crossing the road here. I'm a big fan of pop punk music. Started off in the early 90s, listened to a lot of radio rock, got into some heavier type of stuff, grunge, whatnot, and then started to branch off into Epitaph Records, into Dr. Strange Records, into Fat Records, and also other different record labels that put stuff out, Tooth and Nail. And I have, since the mid-90s, I've always wanted to know what was in this town. Today, I'm gonna find out what is in Bremerton, Washington, the home, the stomping grounds, the starting point of MXPX. Moved to Bremerton off of Life in General, 96, I believe that album came out. And ever since I've heard that song, heard it probably 1,000 times, I always wanted to know what the heck was here and if it was a real place. And I am here to announce, it exists. No real rhyme or reason what I'm doing here, but I saw the signs. In the last week to 10 days I've been in the Pacific Northwest. A couple times I passed by on the freeway, the interstate, where it shows the name of the town, and I thought, I gotta go. I'm inviting you to join me as I look around. Bremerton, Washington. Move to Bremerton, we'll hang out. That's the lyrics of the song. Shall you? And not just the band history and band stuff, but others. Take a look at this bus stop. This is Kitsap County. Kind of going into this with not a whole heck of a lot of a notion what is here. Now I do know they did a couple music videos in town. They moved to Bremerton, and also one ad, which I believe was the first video they ever did. So I can see if I can watch the videos and kind of pinpoint and show where some of those spots are. Now 2 of the founding members went to high school here, or in the next little town over, and I think that's in some of the music videos also. So possibly I can watch those and then drive around to see if I can find some of the stuff. I might not find anything, spoiler alert, I might not find anything, but if I don't, I'll just show what the town is about and just get the vibes of Bremerton, Washington. It's a great day, it's nice. Also, this is my last full day in the Pacific Northwest before traveling cross country starting tomorrow to a different location. All right, see what I can find. With a lot of the areas around here, very hilly. Lots of hills. See if they have a downtown. I would imagine this place has kind of a tiny little downtown area, if I'm assuming correctly. Take a look at this place. Gyros, etc. to go. And there's a lounge right here. I have no bearings on what exactly is around here. Just gotta figure it out as I go. There is this little stretch of road right here which you could consider to be downtown. Now the band was given the key to the city a while back, after their popularity kind of grew a little bit. I'm kind of wondering what this is. At first I'm looking at it, it almost looks like someone with a guitar painted up there, but I can't, I guess it's up for, oh yeah, it is someone with a guitar. This is called the Charleston, also 333 Callow, that must be the name of the road. And some bands play here, possibly they played here. I'm about to look it up and see if they played inside this building. They had some punk rock shows in there. Oh yeah, definitely. Here's an old barbershop signage. Barbershop's not here anymore. It's now a burrito restaurant. A really cool old signage there. The barbershop. And across the way is Smitty's place, which is a tattoo spot. And there's a nice little clock here. And this is the downtown. Doesn't really look like to be, it's like really too thriving, even though there's a lot of traffic going through here because it is a main thoroughfare. Over across the way there's a great old service station. It's an auto repair place. I'm having trouble talking. Auto repair place. Pretty quaint little downtown. Got a lock and key place here. Locksmith, keys, locks, safes. But also have some bikes and BMX bikes. Reminds me of the Want Ad video that they put out here in town. They recorded it. And they were all on BMX style bikes with the big tall handlebars. Seeing these bikes kind of reminds me of that. It's kind of hard to match up anything from that video though, because it's really just kind of like alleyways and whatnot. The Charleston clock, dated 1928, was presented to the county. Well, it was put on the Historical Society in 2002, but it's been here since 1928. Take a look at that thing, and that is the correct time. Sometimes you see clocks that aren't really working. This one is the correct time at this moment. It is 1 p.m. I really like the look of this storefront. Doesn't look like anything's in there, but I just like the way has the brick, little indentation there. Quite a few tattoo places on this strip. It's actually the second or third one just on this little block. Wonder how many magnified plaid tattoos they've slung in their day. Which is how MXPX got its name. First they were magnified plaid, but putting it on concert flyers for shows to promote themselves, sometimes the words were too long, so they just did M.P. But the drummer in school, instead of putting periods, he would put X's. So it became MXPX instead of M.P. MXPX, magnified plaid with X's. All right, as it turns out, that area I was walking around is just on the outskirts of town. There is a more active downtown area, a lot more bustling. There's a Roxy Theater here. So I found a parking spot and I'm just gonna walk around. There's kind of a general layout of the land here as well. In fact, they have the You Are Here section on it. Right here, it shows exactly where I'm standing in front of a very cool old theater sign here, the Roxy, with the neon and everything on the marquee, even illuminated at this hour. Even a sweet skate shop here too, called Location Skate Shop. I'm wondering what this is up on the corner. Also, what is this? It's like a sewer manhole? There's like a little sculpture up here though. It's like a fisherman. Oh, I was wearing a fisherman's jacket. Oh, and then over here, oh, this is interesting. There is a fish with a fishing pole. It appears as if the fish is catching the fisherman. Oh, when the pupil becomes the master. I think it's the phrase. Look, that fish is fishing for the fisherman. It's got a hook in its mouth up there. That's different. There's this mural here, and this plane is carrying a banner that says Harry Truman on it. Has the Navy Yard produce and all that as well. These are some of the sights and sounds you could see around here. This blue-footed booby. This metal structure here in the road, and there's another one across the way there. It looks like someone with an umbrella. The Admiral Theater has the date on there, Sunday, February 12th. It's 1:28. It's 49 degrees. Hosted at MXPX reunion in there last year. So they were just in town recently, within the last year or so. In fact, here's the flyer for it right there, the artistic rendering of what the Admiral looks like modern day. Nice. Little hometown show. Hometown throwdown, if you will. All right, I stand corrected. It was actually 2015. It wasn't last year. It was like 7-8 years ago. Well, 8 years ago now that they played in there. Check out this artwork here of the oversized Pokinatcha Punk. I almost said Pokinatcha Punk, which is their mascot's name, taking over the Admiral Theater there. Also, this place is on the National Registry of Historic Places, not the Admiral, but the McHale Center, named after Deacon Max Hale, dedicated in 1996 and placed on the National Registry right here. I really like this downtown. got really quiet all of a sudden. Brinkenhoff's Appliance Center sign. Very retro. This building across the way looks like it could have been an old theater at one point too. See the little overhang here and this little circular thing. Maybe it's apartments now, I'm not really too sure, but could have been. Or maybe it's a unique architecture for a shopping center perhaps. I just talked to a really nice local gentleman back there, younger guy, and asked him if he knew any of the MXPX spots, and he said that the move to Bremerton video, a lot of it was filmed in Seattle. Boy, they pulled the wool over our eyes. They did, like, there's a scene where a trolley goes by, that's in Seattle, and it even showed the Space Needle, which I thought maybe you would be able to see from across the water, but we're not close enough to see it from here. They would have had to go over in the parking lot to show the Space Needle in Seattle. Why isn't the song called Move to Seattle? Fail. And while in town, get myself a piping hot caffeinated beverage. The local gentleman was also saying that a lot of this area has changed dramatically since the 90s. In fact, he was saying that possibility one of the signs that says "Welcome to Bremerton" was right over there. I'll see if I can match it up. It looks a lot different than it is here where the ferry docks. Caffeine achieved. There is a seagull right here that might want a taste of this piping hot caffeinated beverage. No? More of a cold coffee kind of seagull, huh? Not a hot coffee? I get it. I understand why a lot of people drink coffee in the Pacific Northwest though, seagull. I really do. You are a big bird. Not the big bird, Sesame Street, but you are a rather large bird. Alright, I'm gonna go see if I can match this up, alright? Now there were a couple scenes in that video that were here in town, but noticeably a lot weren't, which is kind of disappointing. Because I have the song etched in my head. I always wanted to know what the town was like, and they didn't really feature it as much as they could have. This says "Welcome to Bremerton," which kind of alludes to the photo that I'm trying to match up where Mike is walking out and the rest of the band is walking out underneath the sign. As shown here, so it still has the right phrasing, obviously. And this looks like it could have been the old dog. This is mid-90s, obviously, so they probably have changed it up quite a bit. Where the ferry, there's a lot of the music video filmed on the ferry too from Seattle over here. Ooh, I also see a ship over there, which could have been in the video. I'm gonna walk over there and take a look at the ship there. But this is obviously where the ferry docks going across from Seattle and other places into Bremerton. And I'm thinking maybe right here is where that sign was, you know, 3 decades later. Things have changed. Here's a photo of them getting the key to the city a few years ago too. Well, quite a few years ago as well, the 3 of them. Getting closer to the shore so I could hear a lot of seagulls. And something that is in town, when they get off the ferry from Seattle, they walk over to the old 951 ship here. And that's still over here. I just checked the number, it's the same one, so they walk down this railing. Okay, that's kind of neat. Still has the 951. Looks like it's parked in the exact same place as it was in the mid-90s. Over there, where they're walking along this railing. And I would assume none of these condos and apartments were here back there in 96, 95, 96, 97, somewhere around there. Even though the ship is still parked in the same spot. So they do show a couple of landmarks from their hometown in that video. See if I can find a couple more. It's a beautiful area. You can definitely see the appeal of living here. There's another spot I've been kind of intently looking at in the Want ad video where they're playing on top of a roof. Now this could be in Bremerton, it could be in Seattle, it could be in another suburb, but it kind of looks like where I'm at. However, it zooms in and you can see the band is up on top of the roof here. You can even see Yuri's drum kit set up in that corner, and they're all running around their bass guitar, regular guitar, and drumsticks. However, this building in correlation, the scene right before it pans down from this. I don't know which shoreline this is. Thankfully, there is this. I kind of look on satellite view, but there's this, Discover Bremerton. And maybe the shoreline could be here, but that would mean that the building there on the roof is here. The only one that's an L-shaped is this, but it's the opposite L-shaped, and the roof does not match up accordingly, so it's kind of confusing. I could drive over there and look, but I don't know. I don't think that's it. Because if it's panning from here over to there, I don't know if that's it. And it wouldn't be from over here because that does not look like the same angle of the shoreline. Very difficult. And there's not a whole lot of information out there about this. Again, this is what it looks like. It could be over there where the ferry boat docks. Or it's not a ferry boat, but the boat goes from Seattle and across, moves the vehicles and people, and that's the roof there. Yeah, so you see the blue dot is where I'm at the moment. But down here, that's the only L-shaped building, but it's not in the proper L-shaped from the video. It would be the opposite way with the shoreline up there. So I don't even think that was in Bremerton either. See, it should be facing that direction with the shoreline at the top of the screen there. That's a mystery. That's a mystery. One thing I really like about doing videos is putting information out there that I possibly don't even know. And, you know, people can chime in and others can kind of take what I've discovered and then also do their own recon work and their own research, people that are interested in certain subject matters, and we can all kind of figure it out together over time. This is not the end-all, the history of Bremerton and MXPX. Maybe just the start of some deep cuts. But I would like to know some of the stuff that I'm wondering about over time. What a beautiful view over there. There's another town over there. Now, I cannot be completely 100% confident that this was the Kmart that the three of them were kind of riding around on the shopping cart, but I talked to the guy downtown and he said this used to be a Kmart about 2 miles from down, still in Bremerton. And it does kind of look like it, but you know, nearly 3 decades of time have kind of changed just a little bit. But they grabbed a shopping cart over here. I believe Mike was kind of pushing it, and they all jumped in on top of it, and they kind of rode across here, and you can faintly see the Kmart sign in the video. All right, now that I'm looking at this, it looks as if they run across the street into the parking lot, and then jump on the shopping cart, and there's the Kmart, top of the Kmart. You can see the Kmart shopping cart right there. So they ran across this now kind of busy road across the way there and into the Kmart shopping center. So they did, that's another spot that is in town. On the outskirts though, it's about 2 or 3 miles from where I just was. They would have started over there, ran across, and now that I'm looking at it, you can even see that the tree lines over here match up, and these kind of poles here where they kind of go by it, and then over that way, it's just way zoomed in, and then they jump on the shopping cart. And this, even this has been remodeled just a little bit. It's a deep cut, I know, but it's fun to do this stuff. Heading over now about a 6 or 7 mile commute farther away from Bremerton and past where the Kmart was. See the mountains off in the distance. This is where the bass player, singer, and drummer met and started the band, where I'm heading. Now, from what I heard, this entire facility has been remodeled a couple of years ago. 2019, I believe it was. But hopefully the main entrance is still here. It was shown in the video. Maybe something will match up. And now that I'm looking at it, it looks like the answer is no. Doesn't look anything like it did in the mid-90s. They completely remodeled this whole place, including the stairwell and everything that they ran down in the video. But that's what it looked like then. You see they're all kind of running down there, returning to where they started the band. In fact, they recorded before they even got out of school, and as soon as they got done and graduated, they hit the road, loaded up the van, and started touring. Should also be noted that that last location was up in Silverdale, another non-Bremerton spot from that video. I'm picking up a theme here. hoped I'd have a little better luck. Ooh, it's a weird angle with today. They can't all be home runs, but I did try. Had no real major game plan. Sometimes it works out where you find things as the day progresses. Today was not one of those moments. But I did it. I went to Bremerton. I didn't move to Bremerton. I didn't see any of the guys from MXPX around either. Where's that camera going? It's leaning forward. There we go. A lot of mystery still around the history of MXPX there. I've seen some of the documentaries. I think there's one called It Came from Bremerton. There's also like a, not behind the music, but there's something that kind of shows a little history and whatnot of the band. Also, they played their first show in the backyard, Mike's backyard. Be interesting to figure out if that house still exists and if he still lives there or not. Because he invited everyone in the song to show up and he would hang out with them. Move to Bremerton, we'll hang out till the end of time, I think is what the lyrics are. Also, my favorite MXPX album is Slowly Going the Way of the Buffalo. I think that's my favorite one. And when I was in a band called Guttermouth, he used to play in a punk band, a few different punk bands. I think it was 2014, Amnesia Rock Fest. Played bass, a couple tours with Guttermouth. And we played with Blink-182, back when Tom was in the band before he quit the band. Now he's back in the band. And NoFX played, big festival. One of my last shows with the band before I quit the band and focused more, dedicated to YouTube. I was doing YouTube before that, but I really didn't want to do anything else except YouTube. But we played with MXPX. It was pretty awesome. All right, I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.